a documentary on the persecution of religion in the Soviet Union is needed, and it is overdue. Many people have begun to turn a blind eye to what has happened, both in the United States and overseas in Russia itself. A documentary, especially a documentary that can put into visual form the stories, the tragedies, the documents that attest to what happened over there, is critical. It's critical for us to remember what has happened so that we don't repeat it. It is critical for us to remember what happened in the Soviet Union so we can understand this relationship between church and state, this relationship between government power and authority on the one hand and faith and religion on the other. And the Soviet experience is the world's only experience of an outright attack against the religious realm by the state. And the fact that it failed in the end, but was so successful in many episodes, is a story of history that has to be retold, has to be analyzed, has to be understood, and it needs to be disseminated. People of the world, people of Russia, need to understand what happened in their country at the expense of religious freedom and liberty. They need to understand that any sort of alliance between religion and the state or anti-religion in the state is not the way to go, and it can have negative, strongly negative repercussions down the line.
Well, I think it's urgent that work like this should be done now, because there are still witnesses alive to what happened in the past, but some of those are dying off. The sooner a documentary can be made and include some of these voices of people as they grow older, the better. History cannot simply be wiped out. But a documentary like yours is not being made. I can honestly say that the BBC and ITV in the UK have not made a single documentary along these lines. There have been plenty of times when they've talked about it, and we've done something on the radio about it, but on TV we've done nothing whatsoever in my own country. I think a documentary like this is important worldwide, not just for the West or the English language that you're making it in. It would be important for Russia. Young Russian people whom I meet quite frequently in Oxford, where I live, or when I travel to Russia, they do not know their own history. I was teaching a summer school about 3 years ago. It was taking place in Austria, but the people who were at it were young Christians, some from Russia, some from Ukraine, some from Latin America, one or two from the United States, and not one of them, Russian or American, knew the story of the persecution of the church. Pope John Paul II, when I met him, he said to me, "Continue your work, because the world does not know about this persecution." And he was a man coming, obviously, from Poland.
A documentary relating to the persecution of religious groups would be enormously important. It is a story that is very poorly known in this country or in the Western world. It is also a story that is not that well known in Russia. And as Russia seeks to redefine itself, as it seeks to recover its historical identity, this theme, this story, will become extremely important. There are many other stories of families and of human beings, of people who suffered under this 20th century tragedy, and that tragedy needs to be documented, it needs to be retold, it needs to be explored in depth, because it is one of the signal stories of the 20th century.